How are you, Mr. Sara?
Good.
Last time I saw him, he was at a rugby game.
David?
That's true. I don't know if she knew who I was, not that I'm anybody important. But I don't think she had any clue. Did she?
I don't know.
I like to surprise her.
Who doesn't know who John?
Certainly.
Okay, we're on, Sara? Okay. We've got Shawnda, Jim in for the economic development update. So,
Good to see you guys.
good to see you.
Been busy as usual with the same type of activities, but just wanted to update you and let you know that the committees, the partnership are still moving forward with the scope of work that we've all been blessed with, and still measuring the key performance indicators. And by that meaning that everybody has a task and everybody has a time frame in which to do it, and it gives us a chart that kind of shows what needs to be worked on, what things are moving faster than others. So, but our work keys application to ACT was accepted. We were one of, I forgot, maybe 15 communities and non-supporting states that were accepted, and 2 people from that committee will be going to Atlanta next week. We had to have 2 people that would go to the conference through ACT to learn about what it's going to take to get that certification. We're basically certified. We have the numbers, maybe 20 shy of it. So the process shouldn't take long, but we still have to go through the hurdle or the training and everything that everybody else is required to do to be able to get certified, but we have our numbers pretty much completed. So I know Jane Canuck from Silfex is going, and I don't know who the other committee member is yet who is going, and hopefully they can get that narrowed down here quickly. So after that, WorkKeys has produced some media materials that they'll allow us to use to be able to start promoting that will be work-ready certified camp. And we're waiting for them to, because it would have to be approved by them anyway. We can do our own press release if there's any materials on there, which is great because then it's nationally recognized.
Are we still on key? Are we the first county still?
We still are. There's one other county in Ohio that is Lucas County, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
They are the other county in Ohio that submitted an application, but they don't have, I think when I looked at their chart online, they had maybe 23 tests done. So
And that you have to have?
It's based on your population.
Oh, right.
It's based on a couple different parameters, but we're over 1,000 now, I believe, people tested.
Oh, okay.
And we're continuing to test on Tuesdays at the job center at 8:15, so anybody that wants to take that test can still go into our job center and take that
I
test.
might go take the test just to see what it is.
You know what, a lot of people that took it came out higher than what they thought. It really showed that there was a lack of confidence in some people's test abilities and skills, as well as
Test-taking skills are.
comprehension. Yeah. But it came out really good. I know the schools looked at it, and it almost became a competition between the schools of, hey, this school, they're tested really good easily, or whatever, and they started looking at each other, what are we doing differently? And how can we, change things? So, I don't know if you remember, in the beginning, when we started the process with WorkKeys, it was tough to get into the schools. They allowed us to work with the alternative students and the vocational students. We didn't have access to the general population for a long time. And now we have 100% of everybody on board, and that really made a huge difference, and that's why it's been a success. So we have 2 employers that are actively using it, which means they'll soon, once we get a certification, be able to say, we require this, or suggest that you have it to be able to apply.
A lot of companies will do an aptitude test, and I'm not, because I don't know what's on the test, I don't know what it involves, but a lot of companies will pay for that on their own, so it probably would be a good idea for a company to jump in and say, go take this test, and so I can judge,
What's great is we've done it, we've been doing it, and with the support of the employers and the vocational school and Sinclair. So now our employers are able to, it reduces their overhead, to be able to just say that we require this, and the people, and it gives us the ability to tap into these people that have been tested and say, if you're interested, Silfex has 5 positions open, and we can have a silver certificate to to apply, anybody, I think they'll continue to make it to where anyone can apply, but if you have that certificate, you're gonna bubble up to the top, and we hope to continue that, but it definitely has made some reductions in some turnover in one of our companies, but also reduces what they have to do to get quality applicants. It really is a good thing.
And you said before that there's 2 good applicants and they've already tested for keys. That probably gives them the lead with the job. And this is tremendous that the partnership did this so early. And I mean, I'm sure the jobs Ohio and any of the workforce development at the State House look at us and say, you know, these guys are on the ball. They're wanting jobs.
We had to go rogue, and if you recall some of the conversations we had in the years prior, Ohio had somewhat, I think, 85 different workforce development programs, and it really, there was not any one single component of it had any real strength to it. So we went on our own path, and because we knew it was a value to the employers, but it also is a value to a site seeker, because I am able to tell prospects that we have this many people tested, and if you choose our location, we will test the people that apply for your positions to help reduce their costs. So that it's a benefit to them, but also it's a benefit to the people that take the test. It can connect them with either further education or training, or they test higher and they have more confidence to apply for a position they didn't necessarily think they would. But in the beginning, because we were in a non-supporting state, we really weren't getting much tread on what we were doing. And I talk to Bill Beagle quite often about what we're doing. He stays in touch, and he at one point said, you know, let me know what's going on. If something Ohio's doing that's impeding Preble County from getting the certification, in which they were. Up until about 2.5, 3 months ago, they were. We were in a non-supporting state, so we couldn't get certified. And him and I were working on a plan to be able to push that forward and get some of those things removed so we can certify. And then I was in Michigan at a conference 2 months ago or so, and met with some folks at ACT, and they announced that they were going to let communities in non-supporting states that showed interest for work to be certified. So that was a big jump for us. That meant that Bill didn't have to do as much work, but it also lets him know that we pushed past those boundaries without their help. He's supportive, but we just continue as a partnership and as a community without it, and it's great. So anyway, I can go on about the tremendous things that we're doing with workforce. We know it's a value. It's the #1 concern for companies and possible new companies. So WorkKeys and the work of the Workforce Development Committee is extremely valuable to the program. We were accepted, wanted to let you know that. Manufacturing Day, it was the 4th of October, and we had a couple of companies here in Preble County that had their open houses that did it for the National Manufacturing Day. But Preble County is doing our own version, and I believe it's November 22nd. It's online, it's on my website, and there's a link from your website to that information. We have all of the 10th graders countywide that are going to be touring a half a dozen companies or so. And we'll be providing them lunch, having some on-hand training exercises. That's in November. So get that on your calendar. I'd like to have them come in like we did last year and possibly do some sort of proclamation or just acknowledgement of Manufacturing Day in Preble County.
Got it.
I think Thursday and Friday of that week. And then again, there's a link that you can go to, and there's information. And we have the support of, again, half a dozen companies in the county, as well as Sinclair and VCTC. So we're kind of doing our own thing. We did the national one, but we're doing our own thing because we wanted to make sure our students were involved. You can have open houses and adults can go. It's more convenient, but we wanted to coordinate the schools to get them in to show these students what opportunities are available. And it was on the National Manufacturing Day, there was some things on the news about other communities that joined the National Manufacturing Day, and they had students that talked about, I didn't know that manufacturing was this or that. So I'm hoping we'll get the same level of media attention with what we're doing independently. Good thing. Business Development Committee is still moving forward with the strategy of the committee and focusing on a few key areas, especially master planning. We've had some really in-depth conversations about where we want to go with that. We had a speaker at our last meeting that talked about possible resources for funding of a plan. The agribusiness committee, I'm serving on a committee with a few other folks for the produce building at the fairgrounds to kind of talk about the possibilities of using that building more often for more things, maybe a co-op food market, different types of things. Port Authority is all done from what I understand. I understand the payment came in and you guys have transferred it over. That's nice. Active, we have a page on our website now about Port Authority and Preble County and things like that, so please continue to promote that. Marketing, still moving forward with the video campaign. We are looking at a branding campaign as well to give Preble County that tagline. You see other communities have taglines or a tune that matches, something that sits in people's minds. And that'll be a community effort to come up with that brand, but we're just now looking at different types of technologies and companies that do that. Just finished working with the guy that does our graphics for some revolving loan fund graphics work to we plan to print some materials that can be placed all across the county about the revolving loan fund with some branding from the partnership on that. And I talked to you about the work he's working with ACT on the media information. Continue to work with BDC. We went on another consultant trip with them in October. We have our investor meetings consistently. There's a lot of things going on with the BDC. I'll just tell you that there's a lot of staff changes. There's been 4 or 5 key people that are no longer there. Different people are sending out leads and prospects. They're definitely going through some changes up there, but they're communicating with me, and that's great. David, you had brought me some information on the logistics and freight conference in Sandusky. You brought it to me last year too, but this year I was able to go. It was informative, but I really think that that's something possibly our engineer or our land use management office should attend in the future. And I will forward you some of the handouts and information I got from that conference if you're interested. And then Business First, you know, we're a partner to that. One committee that I'm on is a logistics committee looking at the logistics network in our region in terms of freight and logistics. And we just hired a company called St. Ange, and they did a study on the region in terms of the possibilities, the strengths of the area for freight and logistics. It was actually very good. And I sent that over to Connie in case you guys would want a copy of the study. It was good. I think you guys need to be aware of what's in it. I did a presentation at the Township Association, just an update on economic development, similar to what we're doing here, talk about what we're doing. Go through here so I'm not doing anything. But also had a really good meeting with Norfolk Southern about rail opportunities in the county, existing rail users in the county that have possible issues, or maybe we can expand on some things, or how we can broaden that rail network in the county. We also have a project, a retention project that's going to require some working with the rail company, hopefully. And the community and I had to wrap our heads around what processes are, what you're allowed to do and what you can't do. So that meeting went really well. We built a relationship with them, and I can see that it's going to continue. The ESP program, you know, that's the former, or now it's called Accelerant. It's the former ESP program, Entrepreneur Signature Program, which we got the $10,000 grant for the grain crusher for the patent work. The study done at Wilmington University, that came out of that program too, the marketing for the trash genie that came through there. We're looking to tap them again for another patent on the grain crusher, but also on another entrepreneur, which I talked to, probably a partnership meeting, we're going to talk about it. The Simple Cedar, it's a new company up in Lewisburg, a young family invented a tool, and we look to have them continue to go through the Accelerant program for patent work, but also marketing assistance, things like that, that can help fund startups. And now they changed the program where they'll actually fund zero revenue startups, which is a big difference for people that come up with a concept or idea, they don't have the money to put into it from ground zero. So working with Dark County and Mercer County, economic development in some relations to workforce development, but also Dark County and Mercer really want ODOT to start focusing on 127 to 70. they don't have the access to 70, the convenient access that we have, and they want to expand 127. And they wanted this for a long time, and you probably know that just in your conversations with other commissioners, and they've tried to push forward on it. There's something out there called Access Ohio, and it was sent around to all the counties supposedly to get input from all the counties on what kinds of transportation improvements or issues. I don't know, because I just found out about it a week and a half ago. It wasn't, it probably went to either engineers, or I don't know who it originally went to, but we have till the end of October to put our input in it. I know, and that was in the email I sent to Connie, so I would ask her to maybe forward that to you, was with the logistics study. I think that you guys need to look at the Access Ohio. We have an asset there with 127 and 70, and those other two counties want to work with us to get ODOT to focus more energy on transportation on our side of the region. So I would suggest that you would look into Access Ohio. I plan to make some comments, especially in relationship to jobs and commerce through ODOT. Project Mary, the lease has been completed and closed. This is the reason why you got the check from the Port Authority. So we're still waiting on public announcement on that project, and it's still waiting on the governor to set some time aside to meet with the president of the company. At the same time, he's only here 2 weeks out of every 3 months. That makes our super schedule. The market study on the State Line Development District is done. We just wired the money to the consultants last week. Their paper, we have the final copies of everything. And I did, Denise is on the committee, she has copies of the study. Not much has changed between that copy and the one I have. I'll make sure you get the updated. 2 changes with 2 property owners, 2 large changes. We know Bob Smith was ill. He is home, doing better. I went out and met with him, took him a copy of the study so that he could review it to put himself to sleep. But also the Gilmore property, the real estate company that was renting the property is no longer renting the property, so I have to go back to the original family to talk about the direction they want to go. They're still on board, everybody's still on board, but just a little lull in terms of those 2 owners, and we keep them engaged, and that's going well. The study's done. The communities have a copy of the study. Everybody's going to look at that, see what they can digest out of it, because it's intense. It's a lot of numbers and charts and demographics and statistics. And we hope to get another group together. I wanted to let Bob heal a little bit before we asked to bring, he just came home, I didn't want to bring him out yet. And also give him a chance to read it before we pull everybody together. So it went good, I felt. Nothing was eliminated. Again, it just comes down to infrastructure. And if you're going to put infrastructure in for housing, you might as well put it down for like industrial or mixed use, which I think that's between retail, housing, and mixed use is what the study came out to be. And that was what we already knew. If you're going to lay water down on one, you can lay it down for all of them. Retention project tool, that's the grain crusher. The scope of work for the grant application for the additional patent work on the process. We're working with the Accelerant program on that, and with John to get that done. He has, that machine has grown 10 times since you saw it. Yes, it has changed. Unfortunately, Indiana is all over it. And they're creating a network for him. He has a couple clients in Indiana now, which is great. I still hope he plans to continue to produce the product and the machines in Ohio. I have let Ohio know that Indiana is chasing this development, and the Accelerant and BDC to let them know. So after letting them know, they seem to be a little more engaged. Good, yeah. Project Crash, we started talking about that back in 2010. It is a retention project. It's an existing company that is looking at other locations. Me and the community and the partnership as a whole is working to put the things in front of the company and make sure they stay. And so we develop the long-term strategy for them to grow, not just to stay now, but what's it going to take for them to stay long-term, and what's it going to take for them to continue to grow. Doing what we can do. Website's still doing good. We updated the demographic reports, continue to Twitter and all that jazz. We talked a lot this month about manufacturing, daycare, medical center, job postings, revolving loan funding in the schools. take the job postings out of the newspaper and we post them on there. And it's amazing that it's in the newspaper and a lot of that's online. But it's funny when you put it out there on Twitter or Facebook, how many people reply to, well, I didn't know that. Where are you looking for a job? But anyway, it brings a lot of good attention. It's doing really good. And the states that are looking at it again are still weird. The states we want to be looking at is in terms of companies looking for relocation and site location consultants. Down here, the number of leads by year, we're at 69 to date so far. Last year, by this time, we were at 70, so not too bad. Hopefully, the end of the year, it will pass up 2012. And the leads that we've been getting have been very good. We do have a tour tomorrow in one of our buildings. We have a consultant group and company in town tomorrow looking at a building. And hopefully that goes well. Some of the other leads we have are great. We have some new property that we've been given access to in the city of Eaton that has utilities on the road. It's only 35, 40 acres, but it's enough for a single or a double, if we want to call it that. So that's been going well. We've been able to submit that property a couple different times, and it's doing well because of the infrastructure. I did tell the partnership at the last meeting that some of these larger projects that are looking for 75 acres and up, with the last one we had, they were looking for 75 acres for a $200 million investment with 600 jobs. You know, those I'm just having to put aside. I don't have what it requires, and hopefully this the master plan, what the committee is looking at, maybe the county in the future will look at those opportunities and say, do we want to compete for those? For now, it's just to the point where I can't even respond, or I don't want to even try to respond because it comes back down to if you don't have the infrastructure, we get bumped off automatically. So I think it's just something that as a community we need to decide what we want eventually. Anyway, good news. Any questions from you? Do you have a copy of that for Connie? Did you get it to Sarah? Okay, good. All right. Just checking.
Thanks for everything you're doing, the partnership's doing, and Jim, thank you for your time. I know it takes a lot of your time, but this has been a great venture, and we're starting to see the fruits of all your labors.
Yeah, it's been a good partnership, and concept of partnership has been what we've strove for. A true partnership between public and private, and with the county and several other public and participants. It's been a very worthwhile endeavor. I think it's good for the companies that are already here, and thus the employees who work for those companies, and then the potential for new that are a good fit for our area. So we're certainly pleased that the county participates in the partnership, and hope and pray that we can, here in about 18 months, get the next step forward in the partnership and people involved. So thank you very much.
I've got one thing real quick here. I talked to Shawnda about it a while back. You helping get people to Preble County and stuff, you want to set a good precedent by having a good, clean county and something that sets our county off. I told you I was driving back on I-71 from Cleveland, and when you hit Morrow County, there is a bridge that says Morrow County, and it's in concrete. And so I'm like, well, you go to Cincinnati, you see Support Our Troops, you see Liberty Way, you see all that stuff, setting them apart. It looks good across the overpasses. So I called ODOT to find out, I called Morrow County too, and they gave me some leads, and they said, well, call ODOT. And ODOT says, well, we could put that on your bridge in 2018 or 2020 when the bridge is scheduled to be redone. I said, well, what about on the screens, so you can't throw stuff over? I said, how do you attach those? And they said, well, you're probably able to do that, but you've got to buy the whole new fence, and it's got to be attached, so somebody cannot take it off.
And it can't fall off.
It can't fall off. But I'm talking about probably the first one would be the first bridge into Preble County from the west. Westville Road. Westville Road, just down the street from this place.
The other direction. Okay. All right.
Well, my second one would be probably heading back to the west, but I would say it would be best, right there at the state line. First of all, the first place in. And so anyway, I still have to talk to another ODOT guy, but, you know, how and well we're gonna get the money, $6,000, I think is what they said. And they also said there is a grant through ODOT for beautification along the highway there, and he said that might be something we want to pursue too, so maybe I should have additional conversations with you, but I'll tell you, you guys have certainly seen that across the interstate where they,
Oh, yeah.
Easton, I mean, it is, and ours is pretty plain, and it would be nice to have a footprint there. Transportation Improvement District, that organization right there could do that, and you know, there's a large amount of funding available to transportation improvement districts that's not competitive. And, you know, my office could, you know, continue to look, my office can't, it needs to come from the engineer, land use planning, and economic development. It needs to be a joint effort between the three. But I highly advise that we continue to look at transportation improvement districts. Last year, I did meet with Kyle and with Chad and ODOT to talk about what it would take to form one here. And I can continue to tell you it's a good thing, but really.
and I realize that because early on when they were doing the 63 extension, they were talking about a TID district coming up from there clear to a bypass around Eaton and onto the interstate, take all the trucks out of Eaton. I can't remember how many come through here a day, but it's a bunch. But anyway, yeah, it's been talked about before, but I know this is sort of new. The 63 isn't taking place anymore, as far as I know. They've had a dead road, dead end.
Yeah, you're not even allowed to
Housing.
say it anymore. It's one of those things. Remember Prince? You couldn't say Prince for 10 years.
It's a symbol.
It's that now. You're not even. It's not. I think that somebody brought it up in a meeting over there about a month or so ago, and they got
Lightning
chewed.
bolt.
Right. Anyway,
Remember
yeah.
John Fonner down there?
Yeah.
And then Bob from Chamber of Commerce down there took over for him, I believe, so. Well, anyway, I will get with you when I find out more details about the fencing, because I think that just really sets, everywhere I see it, really sets that county or village or township apart, so.
Well, that kind of pushes back to that 12770 Access Ohio conversation too. We have the interchange, we have access to it, we have land around it to where the other counties don't necessarily have that, but, you know, that interchange, is it big enough for the truck traffic that we have there? Is it designed
Well,
for?
it backs up an awful lot.
It does, and you know, we have the third busiest interchange, truck interchange in the state, and we should be happy for that because of the gas.
Yeah, it's very good.
But is it built right? Is it built for cars and trucks? If you go to Monroe and you see the dedicated truck lanes, you don't get stuff behind trucks down interchange anymore because they took control of it and fixed it. But it's a process, and the Transportation Improvement District is how that got done. So hopefully Preble County will get to that. And, you know, Kyle was basically new when I brought him in, and Chad had just come in. When I had them over to talk with me and ODOT about getting their opinion of coming together to form one, so I can mention.
Yes.
I would suggest looking at Access Ohio with what you're thinking about, David, and see if there's anything there, at least let it be known in some comments to that study about Access Ohio in terms of transportation, and see if there is the.
I think I drove by that too here about 3 weeks ago, that mile. That's all
If you drove to Cleveland on 71, it's there.
I went up to Westfield Center, which is, I don't know, probably 30 miles south of Cleveland, but I know I went right through that. Because of all that road construction's going on the northbound, or on the southbound side, well, on both sides really. So, man, that is interesting. It's an interesting thought.
Or just need God willing for
David,
Yes.
on that fencing over that pass, on 320, is that both sides for 6,000 or just one side?
Just one side. The side you want to change.
Let's say the
Decide
parish
you want-
wanted to put something on the other side. Would they
So new
be open to do that?
Up to ODOT. I don't know if they
Oh,
allow,
yeah, $6,000?
I don't know if they allow advertising or something like that.
Well,
but,
I have not seen that. What's it say on that one on 71?
Well, it says Morrow County on the
Morrow
one,
County.
but it's in the bridge, it's molded into the
Oh, I thought
construction
you were
of
talking
the
about
Let me see
fence.
if they-
I thought you
But
talking,
the,
yeah,
but Jeff, the rest of them
Uh-huh.
are fences.
yeah.
And like down in Cincinnati, it says support our troops on
Uh-huh.
one. It's got Liberty Way on another one. You know, just multiple things like that.
Okay.
No, whether it could say New Paris, Ohio, I guess it could if it says Liberty Way.
Because that's just
Oh,
a
yeah.
township.
Mhm.
And they have a JED.
The New Paris Chamber does not have a billboard starting next year, so they don't have that expense that they're,
Mhm.
so.
They need to spend their money somewhere is what you're trying to say.
Bring it up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, guys.
Thanks again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great report.
Let's go see you. Let's go soon.
Yes.
Did you go?
No, I watched.